So when we first started, maybe we had 20 dogs, and it was very short, little distance on the boardwalk. Now we start clear at the end of the boardwalk, walk all the way to the other end of the boardwalk. Then we have to turn and come down the street.
How many dogs?
It's just huge.
Each October, when the fog rolls in and the candy bowls come out, one seaside town in Delaware turns Halloween into an art form. I'm Daniel Roth, and this is Event Explorer, where we uncover the stories behind the world's most fascinating festivals and meet the people who make them happen. Today, we're heading to Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, where a coastal town transforms each October into a Halloween wonderland. The Sea Witch Festival is celebrating its 35th year, a spellbinding weekend of parades, costumes, music, and seaside magic. What began as a small idea to keep the beach season alive after summer has become one of East Coast's most beloved fall traditions, drawing families and visitors from across the country. To tell the story behind this Halloween by the Sea celebration, I'm joined by Carol Everhart, President and CEO of the Rehoboth Beach, Dewey Beach Chamber of Commerce, and the festival's original founder. Before we get to it, here's a reminder. Please subscribe and follow Event Explorer on your favorite podcast platform and engage with us on social media in order to keep the conversation going. All right, let's head over to the East Coast and talk to Carol. Okay, joining me today is Carol Everhart, President and CEO of this Rehoboth Beach, Dewey Beach Chamber of Commerce, and the visionary who started the Sea Witch Festival back in 1989. What began as an idea to extend the beach season beyond summer has grown into one of the most anticipated fall festivals on the East Coast, drawing tens of thousands of people each year. Carol, thank you for being here and for creating a tradition that has become such a big part of Rehoboth's story. Welcome.
Thank you, and thanks for having me and giving me the opportunity to talk about Sea Witch.
Well, this is a really cool festival that reflects a local spirit. It has a tale that shows how personality and flavor and local culture can really grow into being something that becomes a touchstone in people's lives. And that all started, with let's find out. Take us back, 1989. How did the idea for Sea Witch Festival come about?
Okay, so in 1989, I was working in another nearby town, and I also had a little event company I'd started on the side. I was looking in the paper and I saw an ad for an event coordinator in Rehoboth Beach. I had never done anything in Rehoboth Beach. I was more Fenwick Island, Ocean City girl. And I decided to apply. I came in and I applied to the small group off of their chamber board. We sat down in what was then the visitor center and still is the visitor center. And I asked them what they were looking for. And they said, well, they wanted to extend the season. So at that time, when Labor Day hit, they were outside waving goodbye to everybody. And I said, okay, what is your budget? And the budget was $5,000. And for a festival. I said, does that include me? And they said, yes. And I said, well, I would suggest doing something around Halloween because mums and pumpkins don't cost much. People have fun, they dress in costume, all that type of thing. So they said, no, they didn't want that. They didn't want Monday. I said, okay, so I went home. Well, the next day I got a call. And they said, what would you call it? And I said, well, let me think about it. And I got a book. I saw something about the ocean, the water, the sea, something. And I got a book on clipper ships that sail. The Sea Witch was a clipper ship, and it actually traversed these waters. I said, that's it. We're going to call it Sea Witch. I called them back, and I said, I'll call it Sea Witch, told them why, and they said, okay. So the first year was at that time, the Rehoboth Avenue goes clear down to the boardwalk. And at that time, there was an empty lot at First Street. It's now First Street Station. It's no longer an empty lot. But I set up a tent, got some vendors. It was a one-day, half-day, really, event. That night, the big storm came through.
Oh, no.
Knocked down the tent. Undeterred, we pushed the tent to the side, set up straws, made cubicles, on ran the event. And it was really interesting because I was used to already doing really large events. So 5,000 people came that first day. Well, to me, that was a failure.
Oh, no.
An F, and I'm walking down the sidewalk, and one of the board members was walking towards me. And he said, "How does it feel to be such a success?" And he was very happy. And I went from that to contracting to do it again, to be lucky enough to be hired by them as a marketing and events. And here I am 36 years because COVID, we didn't have it.
So now this your adopted home almost now, with Rehoboth and the people there. What kept you there? Was there something about the community that you enjoy celebrating and enjoy bringing joy to the people there?
Well, they taught me so much and they gave me freedom to do what I believed would keep the Chamber's mission with that. So we're to promote business, tourism, and civic responsibility. It isn't just the festival, but the entire Chamber group. So it's been wonderful. They've taught me a lot. They've taught me a lot.
So from that first year, we've now grown the festival. We now have a big parade. What are those kind of steps that you took to grow this festival into what it is today? Some of the major milestones.
Okay, so it started out as one day, all day. Then it went to a weekend. And then we started adding more entertainment. And when we added the parade, that was a huge stepping stone, adding that parade. And I had the buy in, luckily, from the town of Dewey, the city of Rehoboth, the business community. So they all did little events of their own. So just over time, it just kept accumulating. If I come, how many things can I offer people? And now it's, uh, you know, that you can't find something you don't like in this program. I don't know what it would be because we've had horse shows on the beach. We have a dog parade down the boardwalk. We have a costume parade. It's 3 days now. It goes over Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And it's just fun.
Speaking of the fun, I saw there's now you have custom balloons in the parade. This is when you think of a small town of Rehoboth and what was a smaller festival. How did that come about? How did making the parade become such an iconic moment of this? And tell me a little bit about the balloons as well, because those are just so cool and so Halloweeny yet unique.
Well, when I had my little event company and I worked in another area, I worked with a gentleman named Bob Kemp. Bob Kemp had Kemp balloons, and he was out of Baltimore, and he had purchased a residence in Ocean City. And when I first started the festival and he saw it was named Sea Witch, he called me. He said, "Carol, I got a witch balloon. You want to use this witch balloon?" I said, "Oh, yes." So it started out with the one balloon, which was Bob's, and we've even had to remake it into a new witch balloon. From that, I made contact with other balloon makers, and they had opportunity to rent their balloons or buy their balloons for the festival. And now, if you were a business and you want to parade down Rehoboth Avenue carrying a balloon and your big sign, you can do that.
Tell me a little bit about that. I mean, that's such a great way to, you're carrying on the business season, and I'm sure they've invested back. How do you drum up that excitement? I'm sure it just kind of happens by way of, well, we have to do it because this is the big event now. How do you engage from a chamber side of things, getting people to invest and be creative around the festival as well?
Yeah. It's really interesting because if you owned a business and there's something happening, whether it's Sea Witch or some other event, and they're bringing people to town, they just brought you customers. And if you own a hotel, they stayed overnight. If you're renting a short-term rental, they stay overnight. So it's grown because the numbers of people continue to increase. We try to keep it fresh. So the things that are tried and true, and they would just really hate to see them go away, we repeat those, but we always try to freshen it up. What can we do different? What could we add to it that would be fun? And that can be anything from entertainment. When we started, we had a fiddlers festival. Okay, we don't have a fiddlers festival anymore. It did its time and went on, and Now they're more interested in making sure that there's a variety of entertainment, that there's a trick or treat in various areas. Maybe it's in the park, maybe it's in Rehoboth, but you can choose. It isn't just everybody has to do one thing at the same time. Outside of the parade.
Sure, sure. The parade is the big focus moment. Okay, so
They can
you're talking about a pretty expansive activation, as we say in the biz, right? This must take an army of, what's the staff looking like? And then how, you're bringing in volunteers to kind of help man all these different aspects of the festival?
Yeah, it takes a lot of volunteers and it takes a lot of businesses sponsoring the event because the chamber couldn't, carry the full load of that. But if you're a sponsor of, let's say you're a band, you're sponsoring a band, then when we get up on the bandstand, we say who the sponsor is, it goes in the program. It's just very popular. They like to have fun. It's really that simple. I know it sounds a little silly, but anything they can do to bring people in, we encourage them to run some silly little game. Guess how many candy corns are in this jar? Some silly little game. That brings them inside your door if you're a business. Okay. It gives everybody an opportunity, and then we announce the winners. We have a raffle, we do all of that. So it's a big event.
That's gorgeous. Tell me a little bit about the two beach towns and the layout of the festival, so people can visit different areas and learn more about the cities.
Well, we've been very fortunate over the years because not only is there activity all throughout the city of Rehoboth, from where you come in to the boardwalk, all 3 days bandstand, but Dewey also joined us. So they have their trick or treat, they have their haunted bonfires, all of that, and our state parks. They run a spooky trail through the parks too. So what's happened over time is they've seen the success and they keep adding to it. And the more they add to it, the better. So we're all about bring it on. Everything you want to do, we'll just add it to the program. And the chamber takes the responsibility for creating the program, organizing it, and getting the information out. And it's just been wonderful to see it grow.
So if you are a business or you're a local organization, you create something of your own and then you'll incorporate it into the greater festival.
Absolutely. If you're a restaurant, you're going to run a costume party.
Yeah.
Okay. You're going to have some bands in your place in the evening and that type of thing. Okay.
Let's list it. Let's get people there.
Now, once it goes to print, we print a lot of copies of the program. Once it goes to print, it's in print, but we keep changing it on the website.
Oh, nice.
So you keep batting right up until the end.
So, Carol, drawing from your expertise and the evolution that you've seen through this event, say I'm a small town. I've got a little summer pop that people come on vacation, but I really do want to carry that on. What's a little bit of the recipe for success for making an event? Because, like you said, Sea Witch is a great name. It has character built in. What do you think from a business perspective or from a festival and events perspective? How do you create tradition? And I know it's a huge concept and everything, but you've done it. So I'd love your perspective on that.
Well, I think no matter where you go, when you start something, start small. Start small. Expect a little bit of like blew down my tent first year. Something could go wrong. What are you going to do? You just got to persevere and get through that. Make it happen anyhow, no matter what, even if it's small, and then start getting your buy in. So when you create something, depending on why you're creating it, but if they're creating it to draw business, overnight stays, that type of thing, they need to take all that, involve all those people. Who are you doing this for? You're not only doing it for the person that comes to have fun, but you're doing it for your community. And what does that community want? What does it want? So it's been wonderful. I have wonderful volunteers. We're very lucky. We're the state's largest chamber. We have 1,300 members. We're very proud of that. My volunteers are the staff. I mean, I say it all the time. I ride on their shoulders. They do the work. It's wonderful.
So now we're in 2025. We're just about a month out from ramping up the festival. For people that are going to come visit in Rehoboth and Dewey, what are some of the things you're looking forward to this year? What are some of the can't miss events for someone that maybe hasn't been to?
Well, I think there's a lot of information because it's gotten so large. We have over 200,000 over the 3 days.
That's more than 5,000 being the big success. People must be pretty happy with the evolution.
They are
Yeah,
going up to,
a lot of work
it
too.
didn't happen overnight. We gotta be patient and just kind of judge what did work, what didn't work, keep what works. It's the really popular things. That has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
The parades, one of the most popular things. Typically now people either book on Thursday night or sometimes Friday. But there's activities everywhere, whether you want to do, you know, Friday nights with trick or treating in Dewey, okay, and bonfires in Dewey and all that. But in Rehoboth, we also have things going on around the Bears Den. We have things going on in Convention Hall. So there's something for everybody. I think that's another thing is there's a lot of variety. It's gotten so popular that we had to alter our parking considerably because they were coming in on, let's say the festival starts on Friday. Well, they were coming in on Monday and parking and leaving the car. Okay. So if this was created to help the area and the business community and all of that, that isn't going to help. So we've had to make changes, keep altering.
Yeah.
Listen. I always said, just listen. You don't have to agree, but listen. And eventually, okay, we have to make a change there, or we have to add something, or we have to take away something. I think that's the other thing is don't be so cemented to the original idea. Keep growing it, changing it.
Speaking of that, I imagine you're involving youth and generations. Maybe we're on our second generation of people that started coming as kids and now their kids are coming. How do you keep involving? Do you involve local schools and Boy Scout and Girl Scout groups, that type of thing?
Yes. Yes, you have all of those types of groups in the schools. Their bands, especially, like to march in the parade. We bring the mummers in; they march in the parade. Um, it's very diversified what's offered. So if you can't find something you like, you need to tell me because
No, add it.
we can add it. No,
Sure.
because it is very over the 3 days. A surprise to me has been we did the dog parade on the boardwalk. So when we first started, maybe we had 20 dogs, and it was very short little distance on the boardwalk. Now we start clear at the end of the boardwalk, walk all the way to the other end of the boardwalk. Then we have to turn and come down the street.
How many dogs?
It's just huge, and they love that. They love being judges.
What are some of your personal favorite moments that you're going to have throughout the weekend?
Well, I'm hoping that we have the Maryland Rough Riders, which is a horse show group. We've had them perform on the beach. So they've been with me for decades. They're like me, they're getting a little older.
Huh?
But we're hoping that we get them back again this year. That's one of my favorite things. It's very patriotic, and just seeing those horses come, with the riders come down the beach and do their routines together. It's just really uplifting. I love that. I love the pet parade. The big parade down Rehoboth Avenue is amazing. I think one of the things you have to do along the way is if you're going to grow an event is adapt it. Just keep adapting. Take out what doesn't work, try something new in that place, and just keep pushing forward with it because people will tell you, we do an evaluation. The way we find out who is coming, because I need to know, where did you come from? Okay. What state did you come from? Well, do a little cheap raffle and put your zip code down. Just give me your zip code. And at the end, we can tell, so many came from Pennsylvania, so many came from Maryland, so many came from Virginia. I think that's important too.
And then you know where to put your marketing dollars or do your pushes out to in the future because there's an audience there.
Yes.
Interesting. So the market determines a little bit, or the audience determines what you need to offer, who you need to invite.
Exactly. Because if you don't just listen to what the visitors say, because I'll come out and tell you, oh, I loved that crazy witch that was walking around with a. They'll just come tell you what they really, really enjoy. Let's do more of that.
No problem. No problem. I get it. Okay. One part I always want to talk about, and we didn't talk about it yet. Cuisine, culinary, we have fall treats, and we also have, I'm guessing because we're by the shore, some kind of seafood focused things. How does the culinary aspect of the festival come to life here?
Well, remember,
Yeah. So we're
so
selling
my job,
restaurants and
my job is to get them here. Okay. Our job, get them here. And then it's the business's job to offer something that's going to bring them into the store. We can help with that by saying, oh, be a clue keeper for the kids' treasure hunt, or, all these little things that we do that would bring them into your store. Do some entertainment. If you're a restaurant, do some entertainment. Then I'm going to put it right in the program. And that's been very successful. The business community has really stepped up, and there's a tremendous amount of activities that happen right under the roof of the business.
yeah.
So if they're a restaurant, they might be offering some crazy dessert, have entertainment. If they're retail, they take advantage of the hunts. Where's the sea witch hidden this year? Will be a clue keeper. It's going to bring them right in your door,
Yeah.
right in. And it's just a way for everybody to win.
When you're saying clue keeper, is there a mystery of some kind that people are trying to solve?
Sea witch hunt.
Ah, tell me about this.
So we hide her every year, and you can't see her. So you follow the clues, and this is the adult one, is the sea witch hunt. You follow the clues, you get your sheet, follow your clues. First one in, when you turn your clue in, gets a date and time on it. First one in with the right answer wins, and it's usually a cash prize for the sea witch hunt. And then the kids, this year they got a little net, and they go around to the spirit. They got a little map. They go around, and they get a bug put in there. Okay, so they come back to the table with their bug in the net. Well, they got to toss that into a crab basket, and you get a little prize for that. It's just fun stuff.
That's so fun. Yeah, just talking to you, this is great. I talk to people from more civic organizations and more profit. And when someone's particularly looking at a career or when they're civic minded, when you're working with an organization like a Chamber of Commerce, asking all these food vendors, are you bringing in tents? No, we want to drive business to the established businesses that are there right now, because that helps our community. That is the extension of the season. Being minded in that way to say, we already have great offerings. How do we dress this up? How do we give it a second life? And then we're just driving more and more commerce. And someone stays, the festival draws them in, they stay for a couple nights, and they say, this would be a great place to come back to for a week in the summer. Let's do that.
And then I have my repeat visitors. So you mentioned children, and what's happened over the years, of course, is they were this tall.
Yeah.
Now they're grown with their own children.
Yeah.
They're coming back, and they'll come up to me and other staff and tell the story.
And it sounds like you're the chamber and the people you have, supporting you also. There is that little bit of trial and error. Generally, we know the festival is going to work and going to draw people in. Call me out. Tell me if this didn't work this year. If you didn't see, if we could have done it in a better way, or do we scrap this and try something else next year? From very business-minded festivals, that could be seen as a failure. That is catastrophic. But for you, we tried it. Even the people that participated in it got something from it. But now let's turn our focus. Let's use our energies towards something else, right?
Exactly. And they get great ideas. Sometimes people will just come up to me and say, have you ever tried XYZ? Would that work here? What would we have to do? You have to kind of think all those ideas through.
Yeah.
But they just want to have fun. So you're trying to bring people here, make sure they have a good time, help the businesses.
Lovely. Well, at the helm of all that fun is someone that brings so much joy to it. So, Carol, I want to just say thank you for joining today. Sea Witch Festival. Give us a little pitch about when people should be coming to Rehoboth and Dewey this October.
Okay, so there's a ton of festivals in the fall, number one. So it's not the only festival. They have everything, jazz festivals, you name it. We've got it going on. This started at 5.
Sure.
We've got it. So you want to come in, I would always suggest people get in by Friday, get into their room. Pay close attention to the parking restrictions now, because if you leave your car overnight any night other than Friday night, it's going to get turned.
We have a parade coming through.
There you go. And then you want to get into town before 10 on Saturday morning. Our website, beach-fun.com. So beach-fun.com. Click into Sea Witch, and the whole program is there. Pictures are there.
Has this inspired a children's book or a novel or anything yet, the Sea Witch? Should people adapt it this yet?
It's so funny you say that.
I think that you need to create the mythology yourself a little bit too. I just love how everyone just assumes, oh no, the Sea Witch is 100-year-old tradition. And it's like, no, we are an inspiration from Carol that's built itself in people's minds.
And people should be careful too. So just like that, so we had to register the trademark, we had to register the image, take care of those kinds of things, especially if you're doing it either as your own business or for an organization. Make sure you do.
Makes it feel all the more real to it, all the more established. You've established this. It's a real deal thing. Something, I imagine you're passing on to a younger team that are going to be running it and taking it on. So amazing legacy, amazing work you're doing. Have a great time this October. Thank you for sharing the story behind Sea Witch and showing us a window into Rehoboth and Dewey and all the fun and the people and the spirit of the town. It's more than just a mascot. The Sea Witch represents so much to the civic organizations, to the businesses, and to the hearts and minds of the people that care about the community, just like you. So thank you for joining.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Sea Witch Festival marks its 35th anniversary this fall, a celebration that's equal parts spooky and sweet, where coastal charm meets Halloween magic. From the beloved costume and dog parades to trick-or-treating by the sea, it's a weekend of laughter, creativity, and community. A tradition that's brought generations back to Rehoboth Beach each October. If you've never been, this is the year to go. Visit beach-fun.com and click Sea Witch Festival for the full schedule of events. Arrive early, grab a spot along the parade route, and experience the spirit that's kept the witch flying high for 35 years. For more stories like this from festivals and cultural celebrations around the world, follow and share Event Explorer. You can find every episode at eventexp.org or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Until next time, I'm Daniel Roth. Thanks for listening, happy Halloween, and happy exploring.